Thank you for joining us and a warm welcome to the program. Now, the European Union says travelers from the United States and most other countries would not be able to enter Europe beyond the 1st of July, citing epidemiological factors for the decision. Over the past month, the U.S. has seen its number of cases steadily rise after most states eased lockdown measures. A lack of interstate coordination and an uneven response from the federal government has contributed to several new outbreaks across the U.S. Other countries whose travel restrictions were extended include Brazil, Russia, and India, which have seen their number of positive coronavirus cases surge in recent weeks. The U.S., Brazil, Russia, and India are the countries with the highest number of confirmed coronavirus cases in the world. Now, to the countries from whom visitors can come in, Australia, Canada, and Japan, Chinese travelers will be allowed to visit pending reciprocal access to China for EU visitors. Others are Algeria, Georgia, Montenegro, Morocco, New Zealand, Rwanda, Serbia, South Korea, Thailand, Tunisia, and Uruguay. Out of all of these 14 countries, only Rwanda and Algeria are from Africa. To date, Africa remains the least impacted continent on coronavirus, with nearly 400,000 cases out of over 10 million worldwide. There are mixed feelings over the list of approved countries for visit to the EU in light of this reality. For more on this, we've been joined by Joshua Osei, a Cameroonian politician. Joshua, a warm welcome. In one of your recent piece or media interviews in Cameroon, you called for revenge by African countries over the closure of borders to European Union countries. What were you saying?
As they have sovereignty over their space and they can decide on who can get into their space or not. There is a sacrosanct principle of diplomatic reciprocity, which means that if they decide that we cannot go, well, if they decide that some African countries are not allowed to travel into the Schengen space, these African countries have as a duty to bring out this sacrosanct reciprocity and make sure that the passport holders of these countries cannot travel into their country as well. And so I find it a bit appealing that those who contaminated an entire continent now stand as lesson givers instead of partnering to try to eradicate the virus. So it's an unfortunate situation, and I'm pretty sure they're trying to play on their immigration fears, and they're trying to use the COVID to reduce immigration pressure and so on, which is their absolute right. But we should as well not allow them to come into our countries, and it's such a time when we can travel to those countries as well.
Joshua, so you described this as an unfortunate situation. Clearly your view or stance on this. Thank you very much for your thoughts, Joshua, as I have to let you go now. Joshua Osei, the deputy of the Social Democratic Front, SDF, and opposition party in Cameroon's National Assembly, speaking to me there earlier. Now, let me bring in Esel Moro, a political analyst in Gabon. Esel, what are your thoughts on this? What do you make of the EU's decision to place and extend travel restrictions to third world countries in Africa?
A good listening. This is a decision that can, on one hand, be understood in view of the global dimension of the COVID-19 pandemic that affects the whole continent. And you know that the countries of the European Union, such as France, Italy, Spain, and other countries like Germany, have been strongly affected and where the disease has claimed more victims. So there is this need to try to circumscribe the disease in the short term while they are in a period of containment by limiting the number of foreign visitors to avoid a new rebound in the infections curve. In a sense, this is understandable from an epidemiological point of view. But in another sense, when we compare the extent of the COVID-19 crisis between the European Union and the American Union, it goes without saying that the American countries do not represent, in my humble opinion, a serious risk of contamination for the European countries. It is rather in the opposite direction, that there is a veritable risk of contamination. This apparently motivated decision for health reasons seems a little too strong in view of the health reality between the two continents. Some people dismiss it as a political decision, which tends to show or stigmatize African countries as if they were carrying the devil, if we can say it like that.
Isel, Senegal and Gabon, your country, have particularly reacted to this decision with restrictions, and Cameroonian politicians are calling for the same. Earlier, I spoke with Joshua Ossi, the deputy, a Cameroonian politician, to put it simply. Will these measures work?
You know that it is not easy to close doors of an African country to Europeans, Westerners, in particular the French, because you know that Senegal, like Gabon, have 4 migratory reception centers. When these countries take the decision to apply a democratic principle, which is reciprocity, it is a decision which must be described as courageous, in my opinion. Because on one hand, the European Union is an important economic partner, but also an important political partner for Africans. We know that the European Union has greatly supported the African countries during this COVID-19 pandemic through various materials and donations to help fight the disease. Tell the European Union that we will also apply reciprocity with respect to the non-reception of our nationals in the Schengen area. It is a courageous decision that we must salute. It is in the short term, but afterward we must look at what are the springs in the medium and long term of this decision. Are the African countries able to truly maintain the decision, or in a few days we are not going to witness backslide due to the pressure that the European Union can put? Because you see, in this game of power which can be born between the European Union and Africa, the African countries are not of equal power with respect to the European Union.